Hi everyone, I just wanted to jump on quickly and share with you a cute little card using the Game On stamp set. I just loved this stamp set. As soon as I saw it, I thought it was going to be a perfect stamp set to use for our guy folk. You know, you can use it for girls, of course, as well, but yeah, it's always more challenging to come up with cards for guys. So when we've got stamps like these, it makes it so much easier. So this stamp set is available in the 2020-2021 annual catalogue and Stampin' Up's latest annual. And yeah, so you know, and of course you can find this online in my online store as well. So the card I wanted to share with you today is actually a series of cards. So this is the first one. It's using the, you know, a range of cards there, stamp that has the cards. And I've combined a couple of stamps to make the sentiment there. And this is just a nice, simple card to put together. It's very quick as well, a few die cuts and some layering cardstock. And yeah, and it comes together quite easily. Then I decided I would make one that is a little bit more stepped up. So here, as you can see, I have re-stamped the cards again, but in black, and just fussy cut the ace out on its own. And yeah, and I've put him on some dimensionals to make that an accent piece. And I've just added a few little you know, embellishments just to jazz it up a little bit. And there's one more card that we're going to make together today, just quickly. And this is stepping it up a little bit more. So if you like to do a few extra steps or a few extra, use a few extra techniques, this might be the level of which you'd like. So I've stepped up the designer series paper here using a more patterned one. And we are going to just very easily layer those together, and all of this piece goes together exactly the same way, and same with our pieces of for our sentiment. So this label here comes from the Painted Labels collection, die collection, and that's this one here. So this is, and it's this one here that I've used. And I've just punched that out of basic grey cardstock. And I love the little embossed detail that you get with these dies. They're just gorgeous. The sentiment I stamped obviously in real red and accented with one of the little images there, the spade image. In Memento Black is what I used for this one. And I love the images and how they look. They're very, they're not a solid stamp. They've got that grainy texture about it, and it's just beautiful. So I've just punched this out using the Timeless Label punch, and we're going to layer these two together just like that. So I'm just going to set those aside for a moment and talk about our card base. Now this is again basic black card stock, and what I've done here to step it up, and I'm hoping that the light's catching the shine there, but I've used the dice stamp and I have embossed it with heat embossed it with clear embossing powder. So I'm really hoping that you can see that there. I'm just going to wave it around, hoping the light will catch it for you. And so what I wanted to do with my card stamp, my stamp of cards, as opposed to the greeting card, is stamp that in ink and clear emboss that for a shine as well. And that's what I wanted show you today is how to do that step. So I'm using my Stamparatus to make it really quick and easy. And so I've got my stamp mounted up there on one of my plates, and I've got a piece of cardstock large enough that is going to allow me to punch it out using my die cut, and I'm using the nested labels, and that's the shape here. It's that size. Ooh, my magnets. Yeah. So I'm just going to use that one. So I wanted to make sure I had enough white cardstock to allow that to happen. I'm going to just easily ink up my stamp. And it's always a good idea to hold your stamp pad. If you're using a whole stamp pad this way, hold it as straight as you can. Try not to rock it, so that way you can avoid getting ink on your plates. Thankfully, they are a great soft plastic that it wipes off quite easily. So I've just closed that over to stamp it, and I've held it on for a little bit. Now, as you can see, it's gorgeous. The image itself is just beautiful. It's very grainy, which is just a gorgeous texture in the artwork. I just loved it. So I'm just going to clean my stamp off, first with a wipe to take the excess off, and then I'm going to use my chamois to give it a good clean up. There we go. And now I'm going to do the embossing. So I've got my clear embossing powder and my cardstock ready to go. So what I'm going to do is now ink up the stamp in Versamark ink. It's the same process as you would heat emboss like normal. So Versamark ink. And because the Stamparatus, the way it works, it's great with positioning, so it allows you to stamp exactly over the top, which is going to be great to add the shiny clear embossing powder, which will allow us to create that shiny detail. So I'm just going to bring my embossing supplies over, and I just use a piece of paper for this side, for this task. I'm just going to sprinkle the powder on and tap it over just like that. So what I like about this is the powder itself is quite white, so now it looks quite milky. But when I heat emboss that up, that is going to go really shiny, and it's actually even going to brighten the image a little bit more than just with the ink. Now I'm going to do my embossing a little bit later. Sorry, my heat. I'm going to heat that and set it later. I've got one here ready to go, and I hope that you can see just how beautiful and shiny that is. So you can see that it's the actual embossing powder in the clear has intensified the color. So yeah, it was beautiful before in just the ink, but now you can see all that fine detail in a much more brighter aspect. So, and I've done exactly the same with the black. So I cleaned my stamp off, got some extra cardstock and stamped it in black, and then went over it again in Versamark and heat embossed that to create an accent. So now I can go ahead and just create my card. And I just love the way this is coming together with all those beautiful embossing. So in here I've popped some dimensionals on the back. And I'm just going to position that just about here. So it's in the center. My points are in the center, but it's a little bit in from the left. So I've got a slightly larger gap on the right, and that's just to make way for my accent and also my sentiment, which is going to go just there. So I'll add some more dimensionals here, down to the last couple. And what I'm going to do is just line up the corner of my label there with the corner of the ace card, just to give it a little bit of, there we go. And then I'm just going to pop this one over the top. Make sure your heart is the right way up, of course. And then I'm going to finish with just a few little embellishments. And what I've done here, I'm just going to pop a few silver metallic pearls on as well. Oop, I sent him flying, but that's okay. So I'm just going to pop those in and around. And I'll put one down here and maybe one over there. That'll do. And then I'm also going to step it up a little bit and use a red one. I want the smaller size. There we go. Now I'm just going to pop that one over here. So there we go. That's our third card in this little series. So that's that one all done, all nice and shiny and blingy without being too much, because it's, yeah, obviously aimed towards a guy, so we don't want it too blingy, but yeah, but it works really nicely. So our first card, and then our second card, and then our blingy card. I hope you've enjoyed that. And if you'd like a little bit more information, just head on over to my blog post, and that will have a bit more detail around making these cards if you wanted to do that. I hope you've enjoyed this project today, and we'll craft again soon.